The way today's guest rebuilt his life after a brain hemorrhage holds lessons for anyone navigating challenge or change. His strategies aren't just about recovery, they're about resilience, perspective, and becoming better than yesterday, no matter what you're facing. Welcome to another episode of Flying Upstream. Today we have our guest who is Dan. At the age of 28, Dan was leading a healthy, active life. After an optometrist appointment to identify the cause of his persistent headaches was cut short, he was handed a sealed envelope and told to go directly to the hospital. What followed was emergency brain surgery. On June 21st, 2014, Dan's reality was shattered by a devastating brain hemorrhage. With no map to guide him on the grueling path to recovery, Dan had to rely on his grit, his perseverance, and resilience to relearn everything he once knew: how to talk, how to walk, and even smile. Dan has survived two emergency brain sessions, weeks in a coma, and months in a rehab hospital. What he found along the way might surprise you. There is nothing like a brain injury to refocus the mind. Dan, welcome to Flying Upstream.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course, I'm so excited to learn a little bit about your story. So, let's sort of start at the beginning. Give me a quick synopsis of what happened. This optometrist appointment. What had been happening leading up to that?
Yeah, that's a great way to stump off here. So living in London, working in tech, big nights out, closing down the bar, night bus home, left living my best life. Started having these headaches, and they got worse after a few weeks. Painkillers like candy for them as my head was pounding. So on the tube one day, the tube take a zigzag around London, lumbering towards Nine Hill Gate tube station on the District line. A slow roll at the best of times. Headaches were so bad, vision turned spotty and I saw stars. Slowly started to fade to black. It was a race to see who could arrive at the station first, me or the blindness. Arrived at Nine Hill Gate tube station, stepped onto the platform, mind the gap, and the lights went out. I couldn't see a thing, I was blind. So I want to ask you, able-sighted person your whole life, thrust in the depths of blindness on a tube station in London, the station's swirling around you, what do you think, what do you feel, what do you do?
I am probably pretty freaked out.
Yeah, that's a fair response. That's a fair response. I was flummoxed, scared, petrified, and I froze there like a statue. The station is swirling around me. After the longest 3 minutes of my life, my vision comes back, and I carry on my day. But the next day, I go storming back into A&E. A&E is accident emergency in the UK, like ER in Canada, United States. What the hell's going on here? I was blinded on a tube station in London. This is not normal. What's happening? They ran some more tests, and again, they thought it was vertigo. They sent me home. On the way out, they told me I could always get my eyes checked by an optometrist. An optometrist, that's rather odd, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not planning to play one now. Sure, why not? Next day, I found myself in Mr. Patel's chair. He was midway through a routine exam when he stops the exam, excused himself in the room, and he comes back a few minutes later with a sealed envelope which he hands to me. He told me to go directly to Moorfields Hospital, which I did. Well, upstream listeners, tell a lie. I stopped at home first to grab a Jack Reacher book by Lee Child, a phone charger, and a bite to eat. Then I arrived at Moorfields Hospital, handed him the envelope. They ran the same test there again, then escalated me up to Charing Cross Hospital. We're getting somewhere. I'm thinking this is a positive sign. This is a good thing, right? Now, it turns out I had a dangerous buildup of pressure on my brain caused from a non-cancerous cyst in my pineal gland. Turns out I required emergency brain surgery tomorrow. Turns out more was to change altogether. After a frantic back and forth with the folks in Canada, the last text message my mom received reads, "I'll see you soon, Mom. Think I'll have a new haircut next time I see you. Love, Dan." So mom's in the air flying to London on June 21st, 2014. I'm on the operating table. Something goes horribly wrong. And I have a massive bleed in the brain, a brain hemorrhage. They think the cyst burst when they operated. So mom lands and finds I'm in critical condition. Was in a coma for 4 weeks. Was in unconsciousness for months after this. When all of a sudden I learned how to walk, talk, and smile again. That's where the story kicks off.
Wow. Wow. And how did you learn to juggle all of the ups and downs that come with a recovery like that after? everything you've just gone through?
Well, that's a good question, and I wish I had a good answer for you, but it takes time. The first few weeks in the hospital were, this isn't my life. I was a healthy guy yesterday. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
But slowly coming to grips with what happened to me, I realized it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters, right? The brain hemorrhage didn't kill me. It came pretty close, and the coma was pretty dicey for a few weeks there, but it didn't kill me. And now it's what I think about it that matters, not what happened to me. What I think about it that matters. So I slowly got to work and rebuild my life brick by brick, inch by inch, row by row. Getting that wheelchair in 45 minutes, not 50. Next week did 40, not 45. Then 35, not 40. Small wins I could tangibly get and stack up and ramp up to. Aim small, miss small is the lesson I preach in my talks. And that mindset of momentum and forward progress is so key because if you keep things moving, it's so much easier to get things rolling than just to stop from a dead stop. Momentum is key for this.
Yeah. Momentum is so important in so many things. And I think that we lose sight of that. I know energetically, so, just in energy healing, it is so important once you get momentum to keep that going because what you're able to achieve becomes greater and greater. And at the time, though, when you first started the journey and, as you're learning, appreciating the 40 minutes versus the 45 minutes, what did that look like for you? Was it pretty flowing within the time? Did you experience anger? Did you experience any of those, or were you pretty like level headed from the beginning?
Look, there was a couple days where I was furious. I didn't believe it. This isn't my life. I was healthy yesterday. This isn't me. And then acceptance crept in. I realized that if I don't accept what happened to me, I can't progress and move forward with my life. Without acceptance, you can't. It's not like relinquishing control. It's actually taking control of the situation. I'm saying these are the new terms. I've got to accept them before I can move forwards. And that's a hard word for people to hear. Acceptance slaps. It's like, you don't know what happened to me, Dan. It's like, I don't. I have no idea what happened to you, but I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt. Acceptance is one of the first steps you need to do to make yourself progress and move forwards. To accept the new terms is table stakes. If you don't want to accept it, you can wish it didn't happen, whinge about it, but it's not going to change the outcome. You're still in the same spot. By accepting, you can take steps to adapt and move forward with your life. So that mindset game was so key for me, and I adapted that early on. I avoided the pity spirals, I call it. The woes me, this isn't fair, because you're right, it's not fair. But guess what? No one's coming to save you. You're in the situation, you have to accept it and move forward with this. And that's a hard lesson to hear, but it is so truthful and so important that you take that on board if you're in a difficult spot right now. Acceptance is key.
Yeah. Yeah, it's essential, I think. And a lot of people sometimes correlate acceptance with like forgiveness. Like you have to forgive yourself for everything that you felt and for the anger that you felt for what happened to you, or how you got there, what was missed sometimes. But I do find that acceptance in itself has its own journey. We walk through like a sort of our own grief path and to get to acceptance. So I appreciate you sharing that. When you look at your future now, how do you balance dreaming big, knowing that we don't always have control over what happens to us, with staying grounded in the present moment?
Stoicism. Control the controllables. Life is very simple. Can I control this? If yes, do something about it. If no, I punt it immediately. I punt it immediately. I've narrowed down my scope of my life of what's in my control and what's outside of my control. And I live my life through that if it's on two ledgers. One ledger, two columns. If yes, do something about it. If no, I punt it immediately. Simple way to live life, but I'm a simple guy. KISS is my mantra. Keep it simple, stupid. Calling myself stupid, not your listeners, of course. But stoicism is so important for this because, you're right, it's not fair, but guess what? It's happened. And if you focus on what you can control, you can do something about it and make your life better, not whinging about what should have been, what could have been, what isn't. Focus on what is, what's within your remnant of control.
What does true fulfillment, like having that knowledge and kind of, living your life that way now, post surgeries and post everything that's happened to you? How do you define fulfillment versus what you defined it prior to everything that happened, the surgeries, the hemorrhage?
Good question. Look, life was fast and loose before this. I was 20-year-old, ripping it up in London, big nights out, late night at the pub. Night bus home on the tube or on the bus in London, chaos. Not really a worry in my life and my vibe. After the injury, I'm much more intentional with my life, my time that I did give out to people. What's prioritized for me. Like I used to, chase girls, chase promotions at work, chase these things that I thought were meaningful for me. But I realized like that those things don't mean anything. Like it's just like focus on like the people in your world, your sphere that you care about, that love you and will be back for you, and reframe yourself. What does that look like for you? Perspective now is my superpower, right? The way you look at the world changes, right? It's just changed everything for me now.
Hmm.
This lens has changed how I look at the world now. And I hope that like by me sharing my story, it can maybe get you to reflect on your own perspective and your own values and your own important things in life. And is it important for you or not? Like, let's drill down to what the real core values are here.
Did you find when you were going through everything that you went through, obviously being a young person, so young in your 20s, we haven't always gone through the process of or learning to value the people in our lives, right? Like you mentioned, you do learn that, and the lens now is that's where it is. That's what we focus on. But did you learn through that process, like who your friends were and who they weren't? Was that something that was hard to go through, or were you pretty lucky in that kind of everyone that you had before stuck by you and supported you through that journey?
Look, I'm alive because the friends and family in my life showed up and they were there for me and they gave without keeping score and they gave and they gave and they gave and they helped me rebuild my life. I'm alive because of their grace, their friendship, their love and support. So that's made me double down on those relationships and realize that is what your life is. Your life is the 15 people you know the most in your world. That is your life. That is your world. Like respect them, honor them, love them. Like that is your world right there. When things went sideways, they didn't ask questions. They were there for me without a shadow of a doubt. And now I just want to pay that forwards and showcase that lesson I've learned because I maybe took some people for granted in my life before, and I realize now that's selfish. That's not how I want to live my life now. And now I live my life. It's like a gift every day. And I get to give that back and live my life with intention and that value set that I've delivered from this experience. It's so key. It's so profound. It's so important.
Do you have any rituals in your day to day now that you live this life that's so purposeful and intentional? Do you have any rituals you'd like to share with us, with the audience, that could help someone?
Yeah. So morning routine is quite big for me. And I got mine off Tim Ferriss, who's, you've probably heard of Tim Ferriss. He's a big podcaster. But he has this book called Tribe of Mentors. And he gives this list of like hacks that every big high achiever does. So my routine is pretty simple. I wake up, make my bed, first step, make my bed. Then I'll do exercise, mood follows action. I'll do push ups now. I used to do walking. It could be yoga, it could be stretching, but mood follows action. Then I'll jump in the shower. And the shower cold, 1 to 3 minutes, nothing heroic here. Let's giddy up and go that gets your body into the ability to like navigate change and adversity and hardship. Also build some brown fats that improve your vibe. Get out of the shower, then I'll go and jump into a meditation. I'll do 20 minutes in the morning, but don't do 20 minutes to start with. Do 2 minutes in the morning. Next week, do 4, then 6, then 8. Aim small, miss small. And then I'll work on some speech and language therapy. And I'll start my breakfast and I'll start my day. Every day is the same to build myself up for success and armor up for the day. The key is to fight that battle every day and to be intentional with how you start your day so you can make the most of that day. I've got a battery now that's about 75% of yours with the brain injury. You got fatigue issues. I've got other cognitive abilities that are not there. And I have to be very intentional with how I live my life, my day to maximize that juice and squeeze that 75% of that battery.
I love that you share that because there are a lot of us, like, fully able people without many limitations, whether it's cognitive or physical limitations. And we allow the outside world to make us believe that we have, that we are limited, that we can do this or we can't do that. But that's what other people are telling us. That's what the outside world is telling us. And I love it coming from someone like you who has a limitation because it's so powerful. I think it really goes to show, like, here you are, you went through something. Absolutely nobody would have anything to say, whether it mattered or not, what they had to say, if you decided that, you were just going to live your life and focus on yourself. But here you are using what you do have learning how to maximize, all of the energy that you do have, and going out here and sharing this message with people. And that speaks volumes to me. Not only is that like resilience, is that, honestly, like self-respect, self-love, and what you have already talked about, which is the ability to kind of set an intention and sort of take control of what you can control of and let the rest go. What is for you, like on a day to day, what is it that keeps you going, that makes you be like, yeah, let me be on another podcast, let me spread this message widely so that it can help somebody else?
I did these brain scans a couple years ago at Health Tech Connect, a clinic in Surrey, BC, Canada. Put this gel cap on your head, inject it with gel, ask you questions like laptop, microphone, monitor, books, coffee cup, computer stand. See if your synapses fire or not. My results came back as average. Average, I thought. That's pretty good. 2 emergency brain surgeries, that's pretty good. Average is pretty good. I read this as shockingly average. I'm shockingly average. There's no way I'm average. Have you seen what I've been through? The more I thought about it, the more I realized that average is pretty good. Average means I'm no better or smarter than anyone I speak to. I've just been driven to go forwards, toes over the nose of my board, riding this wave down. I'm average, which means that you can do what I've done too. I'm average. And that message of like, first of all, undercuts my ego and making me think that I'm sort of special person, but also empowers you to see that, well, he did it. Why can't I do it? He's just an average guy. Mindset, drive, commitment, like these things work. You just have to put the reps in to make them work for you. But that tenacity, that drive, that fight is in me every day because today's a gift, right? I shouldn't be here talking to you right now. Full stop. I shouldn't be here right now, but I am. I get to do this. They say the odds of you being a human being are 400 trillion to 1. 400 trillion to 1. That's a staggering number of zeros. You get to do this. You're more likely to win the lotto 10 times in your lifetime than you have the life in the first place. You get to do this. I'm only a damn queen because this blip was in my DNA. Without it, it wouldn't be me. And I wouldn't trade myself for the world. By reframing stuff as like, I get to do this, perspective shifting, that 400 trillion to 1, every day is an honor. Every day is a gift. Every day is an opportunity to get better and build myself up and showcase this lessons learned with the world.
I love it. I love it. So I have a couple more questions for you. One of them is, before I have one of my other questions. So one of my questions is, I'm sorry. When you reflect on your own scars today, whether they're physical or otherwise, what do they represent to you?
That I can do hard things. I've got this big tattoo on my left leg. I had to wear a splint on my leg to learn how to walk again in Wolfson Rehab Center. The splint was horrifically painful. It was an arduous thing to get through and navigate, but I did it. And now my left leg, my left thigh is tattooed to remind myself if I can do hard things. Every day I see this tattoo, I'm reminded, hey, Dan, you did some hard stuff in the past. You can do stuff if you just put your head down and work. It's a reminder that like I can do these things. I can build myself back up. I can make this happen. But I have to put the work in to make that happen. Nothing's given to me. Nothing's just for free. It takes work to make this happen. Reminder that hard work works. And that's the reminder that I'm given by this tattoo and the scars I've got on my body as well.
I love that. That's beautiful. And what do you do today? What is life like today for you? What do you do from a work perspective besides being out here and spreading this message of basically you can, if you want to and you're willing to put in the work, you can.
I'm a keynote speaker based in Vancouver, Canada. Speak on change management, resilience, and motivation, enabling organizations to reframe obstacles as opportunities to be better and navigate change successfully. Besides that, I swim a lot, exercise like a phenom. I realize that I've got one meat vehicle and I want to make the most of it. But mood follows action, so I get in my body as much as I can. In the summer, I like to go for walks, enjoy some hiking, some swimming outside. I'm a big coffee guy as well, which is pretty cool. I love coffee shops. But speaking is what fills my time mostly, and trying to get that business off the ground and make this a viable career going forwards.
I love that. Have you done Mount Grouse?
I've done grouse grind, but haven't done that in a couple of years. It's not really my vibe. It's quite uphill.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It is. I almost didn't make it. I almost didn't make it, but you do live in one of the my favorite cities in the world. So thank you for sharing that. I have one last question as we wrap up.
Please.
Um, when we are givers, Dan, when we are healers, when we are people who have set out to do what you do despite what life has thrown out us, it can be very hard for us to always remember ourselves and put ourselves first. In your own journey, how have you learned to care for yourself first? And why is that essential to sustaining the resilience that's required to keep going uphill, essentially?
There's a reason why they tell you on an airplane to put your own oxygen mask on first before you help other people. I'm self-aware now. I realize what makes my body tick and what makes my body dissipate.
Mm.
I focus on what fuels me and fires me up and feeds me, not what takes away from me. And I just punt those things that take away from me. I'm very linear with my life now, very yes, no, binary. If this, then that. Like if it's going to serve me, yes. If no, then I punt it immediately. Keep your world small. Focus on what adds value to you and feeds you. It fills up your cup. And double down on that day after day, day after day, day after day.
I love that. That's beautifully said. And if you would like to work with Dan, all of his information is going to be linked in the show notes. And you can also find him at www.mcqueendan.com. And Dan, thank you so much for being on today. I really appreciate you being our guest.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And to our listeners, this is a reminder that Dan's story reminds us how important it is to never look at the things that happen as failure, but rather as learning opportunities. Think about the importance of resilience and remember that it's rising again and again and again with gratitude, with balance, and with self care. May this journey inspire you to find your own strength and keep moving one step at a time, of course. Thank you for listening. Until next time, keep flying upstream.